Hey everybody, I'm Lycan and I'm here to talk about some books. First of all, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2024. It seems kind of surreal to be a new year, but alas, here it is. So for this video, I am focusing on some holiday romance, holiday horror, and holiday thriller books that I read in like the past week and a half, 2 weeks. And yeah, I got my notebook here to kind of run through them, give you some of my thoughts on them. It went okay. Yeah, definitely read some things that were out of my comfort zone. So let's just talk about it. The very first book I attempted to read was The Matzah by Jean Meltzer. I ended up like DNFing this book. I did not finish it. I didn't get like very far, maybe I want to say like 100 pages in, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, the premise seemed pretty interesting. The things I liked about it was that the main character of the book, she has a chronic illness, chronic fatigue syndrome, and so we really get into the perspective of her experience, like going through her day-to-day with chronic illness, and I really appreciated that in a romance because I feel like we don't often see that. And yeah, I feel like I'm already starting to kind of forget about the book because I just had to stop reading it. But the premise is the main character, I'm not even remembering her name. She is a writer. She loves Christmas. She's Jewish. She writes under a different name and like writes these like Christmas, specifically Christmas romances. And she has like a secret office room in her home that is like filled with like Christmas things that she's like keeping secret from her family and friends, for the most part, like just trying not to tell people that she writes Christmas romance and loves Christmas. And her part of this has to do with her upbringing. Her dad is a like world-renowned rabbi. He is like known for being like very like strict, and so she feels all of this pressure to kind of like take her love of Christmas and like not really tell anyone about it. So it's getting to be like Hanukkah in the story, or like the beginning of Hanukkah, and her agent is like, we don't want Christmas romances anymore. Christmas romances are like last year. We want a Hanukkah romance. And so she's completely overwhelmed by this. She doesn't really feel like she can do it because she doesn't feel like she feels the magic from Hanukkah as she does with Christmas. Again, a lot to do with her like upbringing and like feeling like she has to like mold herself into what her family and the Jewish community like wants her to be, or like she's perceiving that they want her to be. And so she's feeling overwhelmed by that. She decides that she needs to do some research, and she finds out about this thing, the Matzah ball, which is like a big, huge Hanukkah party that her like arch nemesis, I guess, is like creating. And her and this guy met at a like Jewish summer camp, and at 12 years old, and they like did their 12-year-old dating at a summer camp thing, and apparently it ended horribly, and she felt like he pranked her and like was lying to her about liking her. And so now she's like an almost 30-year-old woman, and she's like harboring this big hate against this man, which I found to be really ridiculous. Just like firmly believing that this person is exactly the same as they were at 12, and like making a lot of assumptions about him. And it just felt like, along with her working through like so many hardships with her chronic illness. It just felt really ridiculous for her to be like going on about an experience that she had at 12 years old, blaming this person for like her romantic unhappiness, like up until this point. So that felt really ridiculous to me. And yeah, and he also kind of has like some of these feelings because we get both of their perspectives, but not, I think, to the degree, like his feels a little bit more mature to me, of kind of like, oh, this person kind of like abandoned me when I was 12 and I already was feeling abandoned by my father, so these feelings are feeling more like amplified with now being like reunited with this woman who wants to like go to this matzo ball that I'm putting on. And yeah, so it just felt really far-fetched in that aspect. And like not fun, like not a fun ridiculous. It was just sort of stressful. And yeah, there were like some moments in there that felt like them joking about being a spy in the IDF. I really didn't appreciate reading that. It felt strange because both characters did not like grow up in Israel and are like from New York City. And so that just felt like a weird joke to put in there. And yeah, there was just some moments talking about like what is considered a like formal party, and the like way that someone should show up to a formal party included, to me, what felt like anti-blackness and like a bit racist, regarding dreadlocks and like not being able to go to a formal party. So pretty much those things, and the kind of like far-fetched, like, I hate this person because they were like potentially mean when we were 12. I couldn't finish it. So that was The Matzah Ball by Jean Meltzer. Oh, next one was a like short horror book. It was Snowball, A Christmas Horror Story by Andre Gonzalez. And yeah, it was pretty short. I feel like it could have been a little bit longer because it just didn't have a lot of like buildup of the characters. But I think kind of maybe we weren't supposed to root for them. I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, Snowball is a story about this woman brings home, it's like around Christmas time, or getting to be like the beginning of December, so they're like getting ready for Christmas, and this woman brings home like an elf on the shelf that she found at like a thrift store or like antique store or something like that. And she's like, oh, it's like elf on the shelf, we could like hide it around the house and our kids will have to like find it every day. That'll be a fun game to bring in the like holiday atmosphere. And her husband is kind of like, that thing is kind of creepy. And she's like, no, it's not, it's adorable, obviously. But and they name it Snowball. And Snowball is like off-brand elf on the shelf who happens to be like a murdering stuffed animal sort of deal. And we're mostly seeing it through the perspective of the guy, the husband, the father, and he is just having some of the worst days ever. Like every morning it seems like there's something happening that is either making him late for work, or he's getting hurt, or his car is damaged, different things like that. And he's like, the bulk of the story is kind of him questioning his own sanity. And yeah, there is a dog in it, and it's a horror book. Take that, it's what you will. Yeah, and there were just a lot of, like I said, the characters, there wasn't really build-up of these characters. I found all of them annoying. They didn't communicate effectively. the story didn't feel like super creative or bringing a lot of like, yeah, I just think it needed to be longer. The characters needed to be fleshed out more. And yeah, I just kind of found a lot of it annoying. It was definitely horror. So if you like the idea of like stuffed animal, Christmassy, it might be for you. Obviously bits of it reminded me of How to Sell a Haunted House. But if I was gonna compare the two, it'd be like read, Grady Hendrix' How to Sell a Haunted House. It's obviously a lot longer, but I think that's a positive. Like, it helps us just learn more about the characters. But yeah, I don't even know how I would rate that one. It was like kind of entertaining. Me. Next up, I read A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. I was surprised at like how funny it was, and I felt like it was pretty unique and fun and spicy. So the premise is, oh gosh, how do I even get into this? Yeah, so it's a romance. It is definitely like romantic comedy. These folks are like making a movie in this like Christmas land space in Vermont, and the producer guy is like, oh shit, the person that was supposed to be the like main woman got sick from like an ayahuasca ceremony gone wrong, and so she can't make it, and so they quickly need to find a replacement because they're like starting filming in like a couple days, and they only have it booked for filming for like a couple weeks leading up to Christmas. And he is a producer for this Hope channel, which is reminding me of like Lifetime or Hallmark. Just the wholesome little silly romance. But he's also a like director, producer person of adult film industry, and I think his name for that is like Uncle Ray Ray. And so so he's trying to keep these two things separate, obviously, because the Hope channel is not going to be excited about a like adult film producer doing adult film and something that's supposed to be like so wholesome and pure and no profanity, no sex, no like too spicy of kissing. And so he's like, shit, what do I do? And he's about to meet with the director of the Hope Channel movie, and he accidentally like mixes some of his adult film actors in with the possible like Hope Channel actors, and the director of the Hope Channel movie obviously like pulls out the first thing, and it's this woman with her tits out, and she's like, I want that lady. And he's like, well, I don't know how to like explain myself here. I'll try to like redirect. Nope, not successful. Okay, I guess I will get this lady to do the Hope Channel movie, holiday romance. And he also has to hire like to fill in the gaps of like other people that were in this like ayahuasca ceremony gone wrong, and so he brings like crew and like costume designers and what have you from his like adult film company over to the Hope Channel movie set. And so it's just really funny. The main character, she is just like so funny and sassy, and there's a lot of like heartwarming moments talking about like her experience as a like fat sex worker and like fat porn star, and like trying to like get work and function in a world that is like really negative and cruel, especially like in things like modeling, acting, etc. For fat folks. So I really appreciated that. The other the other main character is like a has-been pop star who allegedly like lost his claim to fame because he was like caught in like an Olympic skater's room having an orgy, and so ever since then he has been trying to find a way to like make it back in the like taken seriously realm of Hollywood. And he is a loyal customer to the other main characters, Bianca Von Honey's like sex work page. Yeah, it's just really funny. It's really cute. I definitely believe the like chemistry of the two main characters, and like all the side characters were really great. And I just felt like it was a really like well done romance where I didn't really leave it feeling like that was absolutely ridiculous. It just felt funny and heartwarming and fun. What's next? Oh yeah. Cozy Mystery, Mulled Murder by Kate Kingsbury. This is like a historical cozy mystery. It is about, well, it takes place in the like Pennyfoot Hotel, and the like amateur sleuth like runs this hotel, and she is like a middle-aged, I think it's like, I want to say it's like the turn of the 19th or like the 20th century. And yeah, she runs this hotel. She likes solving crimes, and a body washes up on the beach by the hotel at the very start of this book, and everyone's like, oh no, did someone from the hotel do it? That's terrible. We're trying to have Christmas. We're trying to have a Christmas Eve wedding. Oh no. Mayhem. What more can I really say about it? I thought it was fun. I thought it was cute. The murder like investigation was like kind of fun to like follow along with, and you know, it wasn't just we were following this amateur sleuth, we were also kind of following other people's like within the hotel's experience of navigating this murder. So I thought that was really cool. And yeah, it not much to say. It's a cozy mystery. It had the like holiday bits going for it, a lot of like talking about decorations and like meal planning for these big events like the holiday and the wedding that's coming up. So that was a lot of fun. And oh, thriller that I read is The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. This is my second Lucy Foley book. Yeah, I read The Paris Apartment a little while back, and I listened to it, and I don't super think I like enjoyed it that much. Lucy Foley does like pretty interesting things with like timelines and like multiple POVs. And so you're kind of like, usually there's like a past, like pre-murder, this significant event, and then a post and like what people are doing after they discover whatever it is, and kind of like slowly meeting in the middle while you're getting all these different perspectives. And yeah, Paris Apartment, The Hunting Party, I think I enjoyed more. However, I did feel like some of the characters' perspectives were like too similar in a lot of ways. But yeah, the premise is these old friends who like try to get together, I think like once a year around New Year's oftentimes, and it's like a big huge event. They're like spoiled, rich, ridiculous humans, and they are, old-time friends that met in Oxford, and, you know, they all don't really like each other, as you'll notice very quickly in their, like, perspectives, and, so they decide that they're gonna go stay for New Year's in the Scottish Highlands in this very, like, isolated, which I love. I love isolated settings for thrillers. And so they're staying in this, like, lodge, retreat space, what have you. There's, like, pretty much no one else there except for 2 or 3 workers and then 2 other guests that they didn't expect to be there. But so it's very isolated, snowy, wintry wonderland, and these folks are not prepared for this kind of adventure because, you know, they get upset about not having Wi-Fi, or they didn't expect to be, like, trudging through, like, this much snow or what have you. Blah. All characters are pretty much unlikable except for 2 of the like, workers there's perspective. I don't want to say too much more because I don't want to give anything away if you haven't read it, but I think it's good for a thriller. It definitely kind of kept me on the edge of, like, okay, we're getting, like, little piece by piece, which I think Lucy Foley does a really good job of. And I love the setting, and it was fun that it was, like, around New Year's time. But again, I felt like some of the perspectives were, like, too blended, like, too similar. So I had to keep rechecking, like, who, like, whose thoughts are we in right now? And some of the reveals I felt a little bit disappointed by, and I'm not sure why. And the last one, potentially the biggest train wreck of them all, was the Christmas Swap by Talia Samuels. This is another, like, Christmas romance. It involves, like, fake dating. It is queer. I wouldn't say I had high hopes for it. I listened to it. The narration was pretty good, except sometimes just the 2 narrators' voice, like, sounded really similar. So I had to, like, really focus and be like, are you this person or this person? So the premise is, I'm just, like, I keep remembering how ridiculous this book is, and how I felt like it was more of a thriller, like a romance thriller. My heart was pounding. I was uncomfortable with several parts of it. It didn't feel... There was a lot of elements to it that tried really hard to be, like, heartwarming and thoughtful, and I feel like a lot of it came off of just uncomfortable and sad and thriller experience. So the premise is one of the main characters, Margot, meets this person, Ben, and Ben, it's getting to be Christmas time, and they're like, Ben, like, employs her. To be honest with you, I don't even know what they do because it happens so fast. This, like, very beginning part of, like, this is who Margot is. This is who Ben is. This is how they decide to fake date. And it felt really ridiculous. Like, people that don't know each other at all whatsoever. And he's, like, employing her. And she's like, oh, I just got a really bad relationship. Got broken up with. It was horrible. I just need a break from London. And Ben is like, I never bring a lady home. So obviously they're gonna fake date. He's gonna bring Margot home to his family, and they're gonna do a whole Christmas event. She's gonna be staying there for 2 weeks and pretend to be his girlfriend. this sad lesbian who just needs a break, honestly. But no, we're gonna have a whole fake dating thing. I would say, you know, if we could go back in time for her, that she should just like get a hotel or go on a vacation. So yeah, fake dating. They show up to the Gibson family. Gibson family is rich, on a manor, what have you. And for some buck wild reason, no basis in this reality whatsoever, Ben's sister, Ellie, within like 5 seconds of meeting Margot, who like falls out of a car and like accidentally bumps the car door into the dog. The dog is fine. Ellie, Ben's sister, is like, this person is a terrible human being, is a gold digger. They are ruining Ben's life. I have to stop her. No basis. No, like, all of the reasons that she like pulls from, I think, are totally ridiculous. And just like so much hatred for this, like intense hatred for this poor woman. And this woman's just doing her best, trying to like go along with family gatherings, having like a good time, trying to get to know Ben's family and hang out and like just feel the Christmas family vibes. And Ellie is just like, worst person to ever exist. Margot is awful. I've got to find proof. And you know, since they're fake dating, Margot, see, and I get them mixed up still. Ellie finds some proof, right? So Margot just got out of a really horribly, like, emotionally abusive relationship, which is brought up a lot, and which I would appreciate, except for the fact that the woman is actively stalking Margot and sending really emotionally abusive text messages and voicemails, like threatening to stalk her, telling her that she's worthless and pathetic, on in the backdrop of this whole thing, right? And Margot drops her phone on the floor. Ellie finds it, reads a text message that says, "I miss you, baby, so much." And, you know, Ellie's like, haha, proof. So she goes and is like, I am going to like go talk to my sibling about this. And I feel like in some ways I'm already giving some spoilers on it. If you are really wanting to read this, just ignore this whole bit. But yeah, there's a lot more to it from that point on. But yeah, it made me feel uncomfortable. It made me feel sad. It didn't really like do anything different or unique or special with the like fake dating trope. In fact, I feel like it made it more like already the fake dating trope is like ridiculous and silly, but somehow in this book it landed more like abusive and gross. Like, yeah. So I won't say anymore. I could go on and on about it. Yeah. So that was the last book that I read for this like group of like holiday romance thriller and beyond bit. But yeah, all in all, not great, but I did have fun kind of figuring out what I was going to read and like reading from different genres. And yeah, there was definitely, I did a pretty good job of picking books that had the like wintry holiday or Christmassy atmosphere. And I guess it was kind of disappointing. All right, well, thanks for watching. Until next time, have a happy start to 2024.